Tell us about your house, what's left?
Nothing.
Are you insured?
Couldn't afford it.
Coming up next on 60 Minutes.
How much were they asking?
Went from $4,000 to $37,000.
Australia's insurance crisis.
Up to $45,000 with no explanation.
The price we're paying
Basically, insurance companies can do what they like.
for living in the unlucky country.
Is Australia becoming uninsurable?
Absolutely.
That's next on 60 Minutes.
When it comes to insuring our homes and businesses, Australia is fast becoming the unlucky country. Right now, 750,000 properties are considered to be at high risk of damage or destruction in the event of natural disasters. Another 1.5 million face a greater than moderate danger. They're extraordinary numbers and extraordinarily distressing for homeowners. Many are now being refused insurance. And for those who can get cover, premiums are skyrocketing, often by tens of thousands of dollars a year. But while battling Australians face heartbreak and hardship, not so the insurance companies. As Nine's Christina Hearn reports, last year they collectively made more than $6 billion in profits.
You really are at the mercy of the elements if you live anywhere near Taree on the mid-north coast of New South Wales. 4 years ago, the residents here were wiped out in a record flood. And then, 2 months ago, it happened all over again. Only this time, it was even more catastrophic. Mario Aegis says there's no getting used to losing everything. Tell us about your house, what's left?
Nothing. Nothing. Everything's gone. Had 2.5 foot water through it. We lifted up what we could, but it wasn't high enough.
What about all your belongings?
It's gone on the tipper.
The big question, are you insured?
Not for flood.
And why is that?
Couldn't afford it.
How much were they asking?
Went from $3,500, $4,000 to $37,000.
But Mario isn't alone. The insurance price squeeze is taking a toll in this area. Stuart Sprott tried to reinsure, but after the last flood, he couldn't believe what they were asking.
It was over 20 grand for flood insurance. And then it was 6.5 grand just for the fire and theft.
Did the insurance company explain why it went up so much?
No, they just said this is how much it is. So I just went, oh, well, I can't do that. Thanks, bye.
Did you try and argue for a better price?
I did, but as soon as they said, put your address in, they just didn't want to know you. They just said, no, we don't insure that area.
It's a miracle no one here drowned. Taree's emergency services couldn't even get into this district, 15 minutes from the CBD, to rescue stranded homeowners at the height of the flood. It was left to the local oyster farmer to save traumatised locals, including Kerry and Glenn Williams. I can see how upset you are, Kerry. What's happened to your home?
We've lost everything in the bottom half of our house, everything's gone.
After the 2021 flood, Kerry and Glenn were able to talk their way into extending their flood coverage. They haggled to bring their premium down by paying a higher excess. The couple considers themselves lucky though. Out of the 38 nearby homes, theirs is one of only 3 that could actually get insurance.
The last mob that we were with, they just jumped up to $45,000 with no explanation. And then I looked around and found one that if I had a high excess of $5,000, I was able to keep it down to just $8,000.
But they know after this flood, another hike is coming and it will break them. They're planning to say goodbye to Taree if they can find a buyer.
I don't know if I could handle it going through this again. Yeah.
Taree is the latest Australian disaster story, and we know a lot of people in this area don't have insurance because they can't afford it or they can't get it. The latest report from the Australia Institute shows over 800,000 homes in the country currently don't have insurance or are underinsured. That's 2 million people that have their fingers crossed that disaster is not going to strike them. If you think it's not a problem where you live, think again.
We need to get out of here.
Global warming is fueling a surge in weather catastrophes. And Climate Council economist Nikki Hutley says it's threatening more of us than you'd expect. Is Australia becoming uninsurable?
Absolutely. At least vast parts of it are. We're talking 1 in 23 properties. You know, I don't know about you, but I live in a street with maybe 75 homes in it. That's saying that 3 houses in my street are uninsurable in every street in Australia on average. That's a lot of homes. And then we talk about how these at-risk properties are concentrated in regions that are facing absolutely unimaginable risk. How can we not consider that a crisis for those communities?
Well, Andrew, this place has obviously been completely destroyed.
It was a haberdashery.
The CEO of the Australian Insurance Council, Andrew Hall, has become accustomed to touring devastated towns like Taree because disasters are happening so often. Homeowners are understandably angry. But he says insurers have no choice but to jack up the premiums. Do you agree that insurers have been doing a pretty lousy job in explaining to customers why their premiums are going up by so much?
They're trying to price them in a way to understand if they need to replace them after they're flooded every 3 or 5 years, what would that cost? If we were to equalise the cost across everybody's home in Australia, everybody's premiums will go up.
But everyone's premiums are going up. I don't know of too many people that say their insurance is going down.
And insurers are not immune to inflation. The cost of building inflation over the last 3 years alone has outstripped the cost of premium increases.
Have you read your own code of conduct?
Yes, I'm very aware of the code of practice.
Principle 1, insurers need a clear understanding of people's needs and information. Number 2, insurers' communication should be clear and reader-friendly. Just on those first 2 principles of the code of conduct, would you agree that insurers are overwhelmingly failing?
Well, insurance is a very highly regulated product. Our product disclosures...
Are they highly regulated though?
We've got more than 100 pieces of legislation at the moment covering how insurance operates. We've just had a major flood inquiry with 80-odd recommendations. We've also had a major review of the code of practice.
There is a watchdog that's meant to be keeping a close eye over the industry. It's the Australian Securities and Investment Commission, or ASIC. Nobody around here thinks they're doing a very good job. Residents in Halls Gap in Victoria's West agree. This is another area where insurers are running for the hills. With the peaks of the Grampians soaring over the town, it's a magnet for holidaymakers. But it's been devastated by 2 bushfires in 12 months, with dozens of homes lost in the surrounding area. Asip Mamishi had just paid $6 million for the Halls Gap Hotel when a few weeks later, bushfires were on his doorstep.
I got about 4 fire hoses which I had rolled out in different positions, and I was just going around just hitting the roof and hitting the deck area for about most of Saturday and the Sunday until the CFA and all that come from all over Victoria.
The previous owner of the pub had bushfire insurance, but when Asip bought 2 years ago, he couldn't get it. Instead, Asip pays a staggering $55,000 a year without bushfire cover. If this place burnt down, what would you be left with?
Nothing. I'd be wiped out.
But you're paying $55,000 a year for insurance.
I know.
So you're just resigned to the fact if this place burns down in a bushfire, that's it?
Yeah, I'm finished,
You just lose everything?
I lose everything, yes.
How tough is that?
It's really tough. Being in Australia, one of the best and richest countries in the world, and we can't get fire insurance, you know, it should be a democratic right to have insurance, just a basic insurance cover.
The insurance company eventually gave Asip another option. He could pay $100,000 a year and get bushfire protection, but it would only cover the hotel for $2 million, a fraction of its true value.
I just can't afford that. You know, I'm struggling to pay the 55. Just, you know, as a small country hotel, it's, you know, it's just...
It's out of reach.
It's out of reach.
The Insurance Council would say to you, we'll shop around.
Yes. The Insurance Council will say that because they're a lobby group which is paid by the insurance companies, but they just come here, talk the same thing, just piss in your pocket. It's just bullshit. There's only 1 or 2 insurance brokers that actually cover hotels in Australia, and they're based in England. They've got their zones picked out by satellite, and this is a bushfire-prone area, and it's an automatic exclusion, especially for big assets like ours.
What's hard for Asip and the Taree flood victims to accept is that after a few lean years, insurers are now back in the black and recording massive profits, while they continue to battle with their insurers and struggle to rebuild their homes. Insurance companies in Australia collectively banked $6.1 billion last financial year. So that is 3 times higher than the 5-year average. Do you understand why homeowners in Australia are angry when they read about those profits and are looking at their premiums?
Over a 5-year average, it's been a return to profitability that was experienced last 10 years ago. So it is not a case that insurers every single year make profits.
The insurance industry is not about to revisit those lean years anytime soon. And they're playing hardball in any areas prone to risk.
We can't keep rebuilding properties in the wrong location. We can't keep restoring them in the wrong location. We're going to have to make some hard decisions about what we do about some of these communities moving forward.
Coming up, how the insurance companies game the system.
Insurance people are almost trained that the insurance company is the good guy, the clients are the bad guy.
We never would have thought that it would have taken this long.
And you just bang your head against the wall and we are bloody over it.
Three years ago, a record-breaking flood tore through Rochester in northern Victoria, nearly wiping out the town and turning life upside down for David and Robin Hanscom.
Welcome to our home. This is what we've been left with, and this is our fight with our insurance company.
It's heartbreaking just to walk through that door.
It's demoralising.
We're about the middle of the hallway heading up.
Fully insured, they lost everything, but never thought they'd still be arguing with insurance company Allianz nearly 3 years later. And it's all gone.
Our beautiful home that we loved very much.
Their home was covered for nearly $400,000. But on lodging the claim, they were told the building wasn't considered a total loss.
They said they were able to rebuild our home for $160,000. We said, go ahead. Then they came back and said, oh, it's not possible because our builders will not guarantee their work.
Well, what's the point?
Thank you.
So the insurance company has never been here to your home?
Never come here. They don't know shit from play, and you just bang your head against the wall and we are bloody over it.
While the argument drags on, the insurance still has to be paid, and it keeps going up and up.
We're getting to that age now where we're about to retire, so therefore I don't think we'll be able to pay the extreme premium costs that would be there.
So you'll just be uninsured?
Yes, so hopefully when we rebuild, we'd like to think we can build above a flood level.
These once rare disasters are now becoming routine in many parts of Australia. And what are we seeing here, Lee?
So there's 1,100 homes in the township, but within the catchment of Rochester, there's 1,300 homes.
And how many were damaged by floods?
So there was 1,000 approximately damaged by floods.
Lee Wilson knows the area better than most. He grew up in Rochester and is in charge of the flood recovery program. He says many homes here will never be repaired because people don't want to come back. And why would they? Premiums are skyrocketing, there could be another flood, and insurers are difficult to deal with.
We know there's anywhere between 180 and about 250 homes that are vacant.
And why are they vacant?
A large number of those people have got them on the market. They've left the community and they're selling the house.
Is it fair to say that there's some pockets here that have turned into climate ghettos?
I suppose that's the threat of any community that has segments of their market that can be left behind.
But this is no longer a problem for just small regional towns. Climate Council economist Nikki Hutley tells us that in the next 5 years, we'll see more towns and cities stricken by floods, fire or cyclone in areas that have never before been considered risky.
How many houses have you identified as living in high-risk areas in Australia?
So right across Australia, we're talking about 750,000 properties. That's homes and businesses.
That's a hell of a lot of Australians at high risk.
Oh, it is. And we're talking another 1.5 million at moderate to high risk. So, you know, this is a serious problem.
These statistics are so worrying. What do you say to people that say it's alarmist?
If anything, we've erred on the side of caution in these numbers. We're just showing what the evidence shows. And if anything, our numbers are conservative.
We're in Shepparton in northern Victoria, and according to the Climate Council, this is the most at-risk, unlivable city in all of Australia. The last major flood that swept through here in 2022 affected 6,000 homes, and it's forecast to happen with more frequency and ferocity, and that has insurers scared and backing away. It's predicted by 2030, 90% of homes in Shepparton will be uninsurable. The expectation is that they'll be flooded at some point by the river, which snakes through the city.
What are they going to do?
The only thing that we can do with a town that size is to adapt. We have to find engineering solutions for the community along rivers, for houses. It's going to cost a fortune, but what's the alternative? You can't possibly expect that many people to relocate. Where would they even go?
Shepparton is a major regional centre in Victoria, and you're saying most of the town is going to be uninsurable.
Well, unfortunately, we have ignored the warning signs for too long. People have dismissed climate risk. They have not taken into account planning properly. And unfortunately, we're now having to literally mop up from those incredibly bad policy decisions of the past.
So when we are able to come up home, this is where we stay.
For Robin and David Hanscom in Rochester, dealing with their insurance company has been more traumatic than the actual flood event.
We've felt like we've gone through hell and back. We really have. Emotionally, mentally, it's been bloody hard, really hard.
I can see the toll it's taken on you, Robin.
We've just stood here and held each other and cried many a time. It's just gut-wrenching, it really is, yeah.
As a last resort to finding a solution, Robin and David have enlisted the help of claim solver, David Keane. David worked for insurance companies for 20 years and was often appalled at their tactics, so decided it was time to work for the customer.
Are you surprised that 3 years on, their house still looks like this?
Unfortunately, no, because I deal with this sort of thing too often with insurers, but it's not in any way acceptable, but unfortunately I'm not surprised.
What's the main problem you see with consumers and insurers in trying to solve that claim?
There's two main problems. From the consumer's point of view, nobody actually bothers to read their policy and know what they're covered for, and so expectation can be a problem. But from an insurance point of view, insurance people are almost trained that the insurance company is the good guy, the clients are the bad guy, because they're trying to get something that they're not potentially entitled to.
And in David's experience, the system is rigged against the customers because it's the insurance companies who hire and pay the builders and engineers to assess the damage. And it's on their word whether a claim gets paid or not.
They have a conga line of so-called experts who are ready to report anything that the insurance company wants them to report. You have a so-called expert who has a hidden contract with the insurance company that nobody's allowed to see, and that contract, for all we know, says that they have to look after the rights and the interests of the insurance company.
Is it a case of some insurance companies just looking for that loophole not to pay out?
Absolutely. There are some companies that are better than others, but there are some insurance companies that I get involved in what I call corporate bastardry.
How widespread is that practice of insurance companies having secret contracts with experts?
Well, it's difficult to know exactly how widespread because it's so secret. I've had cases where a building consultant or an engineer who does happily report for the insurance company or the consumer then gets a quiet phone call from the industry saying, if you keep doing that, we're going to run you out of this industry. And that's happened to multiple contractors that I'm aware of personally.
Andrew Hall is the CEO of the Australian Insurance Council. His unenviable job is to defend the general insurance sector. He is adamant the majority of claims are settled quickly and fairly.
But we've got cases where people are still waiting 3 years on from the flood to settle their claim. Is that fair?
Well, there are a number of mechanisms to protect people through a claims process. And at any time during that process, if the homeowner changes their mind about a scope of works, they can adjust that scope of works.
But it's not so much about them changing minds. It's that the insurer doesn't want to actually pay out the agreed amount, and they'll come up with reasons as to why not, or trying to offer a cash settlement far below what the homeowner was insured for.
If you are unhappy with where you are arriving at with your insurer, we have an ombudsman called AFCA.
But AFCA, the Australian Financial Complaints Authority, ruling is final. And that is catching out a lot of homeowners who go into the process underprepared.
You only get one chance at AFCA. There's no appeals process. Some people go to AFCA, they get to the end, and because they didn't have the right evidence, AFCA goes against them. And then they call me and say, what can you do? And I say, well, it's too late. And so the industry tries to push people directly to AFCA. I think it's because they want people who are ill-equipped to fight that matter for themselves.
David, it seems there's a lot of things stacked against the consumer.
Absolutely.
There is a happy postscript for David and Robin Hanscom. Their 3-year saga was suddenly fully settled after our visit. If only it was this easy for thousands of others battling insurance companies. Of course, neither the insurers nor their customers can predict what the climate is going to throw at us next. But there is one thing everyone can agree on, and that's the urgent need for government intervention. We need smarter planning, better flood and bushfire mitigation, and buildings that are truly fit for purpose to be ready for what is coming.
It is a really costly problem to mitigate and make Australia more resilient. It's going to be borne by not just the policyholders, it'll be borne by taxpayers. If we look around the world, there is no silver bullet. It is very expensive, but we have to make a start now. The longer we put this off, the more expensive it's going to become.
What's the worst outcome you see down the track?
Is that we fail to act, that we have more and more communities that are disrupted, lives that are lost, that insurance becomes more and more out of reach of more and more households. We're already behind the 8 ball, but can we please to start acting to stop making things worse?
Tell us about your house, what's left?
Nothing.
Are you insured?
Couldn't afford it.
Coming up next on 60 Minutes.
How much were they asking?
Went from $4,000 to $37,000.
Australia's insurance crisis.
Up to $45,000 with no explanation.
The price we're paying
Basically, insurance companies can do what they like.
for living in the unlucky country.
Is Australia becoming uninsurable?
Absolutely.
Hello, I'm Dimity Clancey. Thanks for watching 60 Minutes Australia. Subscribe to our channel now for brand new stories and exclusive clips every week. And don't miss out on our extra minute segments and full episodes of 60 Minutes on 9now.com.au and the 9Now app.